Hey, you guys, it is me again with Storytime from my bedroom. Storytime from my bedroom. Thanks for tuning in. Before we get right into this video, you're probably here because you saw a snippet on IG or TikTok or maybe Facebook. Killers and thrillers, y'all. Killers and dillers, y'all. Ooh-wee. So before we get into this video, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and give the video a thumbs up after you watch it. And click the bell for notifications so you will be the first one to know when I upload another story. You guys, let me get comfortable for this one right here. Honey, so I was working for this temporary agency. So I'm working through the temporary agency as a receptionist at what was it? Avondale Redevelopment here in Cincinnati. I don't know if it's still around, but that was the place that I was working. And so that assignment, I worked there. I don't know how long I worked there, but the assignment ended. And so I went back to the agency looking for another assignment to be placed on. So they didn't have an assignment, but the lady that was over the temporary agency, which I won't mention, that was over the temporary agency decided that I had been working for them for a while, and so she offered me a position to work within their office. So I said, of course, because I got tired of going to different, sites, different assignments, and then one minute you're working really good and next minute they just don't need you. So I figured this would be a great opportunity to be long term, and she said I would be the front desk assistant. And I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. So I go and work for her, right? It was her and it was another lady that was kind of like an office manager. And so I was going to be the first person that you see when you come in, take the applications, greet the people, sign in the clipboard, take your documentation, and then they will go to the other office manager after dealing with me, and that's where they will get their assignments. And then you had the lady that actually owned the place, and she just overseeing everything. And so when I was working there, you guys, I guess they figured that maybe I didn't dress up to par for them, but they were linked with Dress for Success. So I don't know if you guys have Dress for Success where you're at, but here, Dress for Success is where people will donate, lightly used uniforms for people that need to go on interviews, or you got a job you want to go to, and you can go to Dress for Success. I think they sell the clothes. Yeah, they sell the clothes, and people, purchase the clothes, professional clothes, for like a really, really low price. But this particular agency had clothes that were there, so they were doing their own quote unquote Dress for Success. So they asked me if I wanted to go back there and pick some stuff out. And I'm like, okay, I guess. I thought I dressed kind of okay anyways, but maybe they seen, I don't know, maybe that I was a project for them and they want to polish me up. So I go back there and get some little clothes or whatever, and then I go, sit in the front or whatever it was. And so as time went on, the lady, the owner's husband, started working in payroll. Now, mind you, it was a real small temporary agency, and he just came and worked for them or what have you. I don't know where this man was at that time. I didn't know where this man was, where he came from. I didn't even know the woman was married. But he came in and he would do payroll. And when I first saw him, I ain't really vibe with him. I'm not a person that will hate on anybody, but you know how you see somebody and you be like, he just looked like he was slickeroo. He was just a slickeroo. He came in with a really nice tailored suit on, probably something he got from Brooks Brothers. But he just looked to me like a gangster in a nice suit. He tried to come off professional, but he just gave me slickeroo. I just really didn't vibe with him. And so they had a contract. They had finally landed this big contract with the convention center. Now it's called Duke Energy Center. And so they needed people to come in and break down after they have like conventions and conferences, to break down like the eating tables and the chairs and stuff like that. So I guess it would be labeled as hosting, as a host, breaking down host, whatever, y'all, breaking down stuff after the event was over. And it was hard work, and women wasn't too much doing that. Okay, so he had to go recruit some men to do this. So he connected with the Tauber House. I don't know if you guys have a Tauber House where you live, but the Tauber House is a halfway house for men that get out of prison. And maybe women, but I don't know. For men that get out of prison. So they stay there if they're on probation or whatever it is. I don't know how long they're there, but everybody that's in the Tauber House is there because they got out of prison. So he connected with them, which is a great ideal because those people get out of jail. They need a job, which will keep them from possibly going back to jail. So he would go there and get a bunch of those guys and have them come down there and work at the convention center. And they had like a little van. They would go pick the guys up and then, take them to work. And then they would supervise them and then they would drop them back off at the Tauber House. He had this one particular Tauber House that he would go to and pick them up or what have you. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool or what have you. So I ain't think nothing of it. The guys was doing really good. And the only time I think you could leave the Tauber House is if you had a legitimate reason to be outside of the Tauber House. So if they said they were coming down to the agency, then they would allow them to come down to the agency. And then if they were going to work, they would allow them to come, and leave out for that purpose. And then you had a certain amount of time you had to be back in there. So mind you, I'm in the front desk, just like we are here. Ain't no barriers, ain't no blockage, ain't no nothing, y'all. So he will come in, the husband will come in on like say Monday and say, hey, I'm not taking any phone calls. I'm doing payroll. But he was just nasty, y'all. I just didn't like him. He was just nasty how he said, just his undertones was nasty. Now, she was all she, foo-foo. My name is so-and-so. She was she, foo-foo and bourgeoisie. And he was just like, why is you with him? But I guess, it is what it is. That's your man, ain't my man. But I don't like him. So he would come in and say, hey, don't bother me because I'm doing payroll. Okay, cool. So mind you, these guys have been working for them for about, they had that contract maybe like a good 4 weeks. So it was like a good 4 weeks. So I started getting these phone calls from these guys. Hey, can I speak to Mr. So-and-so? And I'm like, he's not available. Can I take a message? Can you call him to call so-and-so at the Tauber House? Okay, fine. So then I get another phone call. This is all within the span of a day or so. Every single day, I'm getting phone calls from different guys at the Tauber House. Can I speak to Mr. So-and-so? He's not available. Can I take a message for him? He never wanted to be available. Even if he wasn't doing payroll, he didn't want to be available. And I'm like, why is you always hiding from somebody who's not always available? Mind you, I done been administrative assistant. I know how to say he's not available or he's on the other line, but you can only push that so many times. So the guys just kept calling, and it was different guys. Different guys just kept calling. He's not available. He's not available. And they kept doing this for like a whole week. And then by the next week, these guys were calling again. He's not available. He's not available. And I'm like, so then I'm start catching. They was like, can you tell him Michael called? And I'm like, Michael, did you call like last week? He was like, yeah, I called last week. I said, he didn't call you back? He said, no, he never called me back. I said, okay, then well, I'll make sure that I, get him the message, because outside their door, they had like these little plastic file things, like a little envelope, a pocket or whatever, that you can drop the little messages in. So this time I decided, okay, you're a repeat caller. I don't know why you're repeat calling, because they never said what they needed. I'll go ahead and make sure that when I take the messages, I'll put it on his desk so he'll see it. And hopefully he'll call you by the end of the business day. He said, okay, then thanks, Miss Lady, whatever. The guys were respectable. So this is the second week. They still calling. What's going on? Next thing you know, y'all, they weren't calling that much no more. You know why? Because they was walking up in the office. Oh my. Clutch invisible pearls. What are you doing here? They're walking in the office. Can I speak to Mr. So-and-so? I'm looking up. He's not available. You know when he gonna be available? Oh, bruh. I'm not for sure. What's your name? I'm so-and-so. Oh, okay, then I remember you called. He didn't contact you? No, he didn't contact me. I need to talk to him. Let him know I stopped by. Da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da. So I'm like, okay, what the heck is going on? Because now these brothers is rolling up on a sus. You in the back office hiding. Your wife, I don't know where she at. The office lady is back, like back in the back around. So I'm the only one up in the front. And you got these dudes from the Talbot house now rolling up in here because it's been a space of 2 weeks and you ain't calling nobody back. Now, I done used a notepad, a little pad of these while you were out the office, the little pink slips that you look right in while you was out the office. Oh, I know how to take some notations and dictations. So I'm taking notes, writing it, putting it in your thing, but obviously you not calling these dudes back because now they done caught the bus. So they done told the daggone manager over at the Talbot house, I need to go down to the temporary service. They ain't leaving out because they coming to work. They leaving out because they looking for you. And they standing in the front of my desk. So the guy was like, okay, that's fine. Make sure, da da da. And I said, well, I have been giving it to him. I don't know what the situation is. Okay. And I'm like, oh, it's some bull crap going on. I said, it's some bull la la going on up in here that I don't know nothing about. And I need to find out why the frick you hiding from these dudes, because I ain't on the mess. Let me pause there. Mind you, the people that had, that owned the temp service, which was the lady and her husband, also had a furniture store. They had a furniture store that was out in Westchester here in Ohio. And Westchester is a really affluent area. So they had a furniture store that sold this real pretty contemporary furniture that you probably couldn't find anywhere else out there in that area. Keep that in mind. Keep that in your back. Earmark that. So what finally made me go knock on this man's door, because he never wanted to be bothered, definitely on payroll day, which I get, but he never wanted to be bothered any other time. This man comes in, Mr. So-and-so here. So I'm sitting there, I said, he's not available. I look like this, y'all. He's not available. Oh, dang. Wait a minute. He's not. Oh, I'm only at your chest. He not available. This was by far the biggest black man I have ever seen in my life. Let me tell you something. The men on my daddy's side are tall. My granddaddy was at least 6'4". My uncle Tony is at least 6'4". My dad was probably about 6'3", 6'2", so he's the shortest. He's the runt. This man, I don't know how tall this man was, but I was like this. Oh, he not available. He said, when he gonna be available? He was like, let me tell you something, Miss Lady. I know your voice. You very nice. He was like, I've been calling for like 2 weeks now. And I left my name and this, and this. He told me his name. And clink, I recognize his name. He said, I know you don't know nothing about what's going on. He said, but if he in this building, I'm going to need you to go get him. Baby, let me tell you something. Honey, I got up like Mrs. Higgins, honey, on the Cabinet Show with Mr. Tudwell. Baby, listen, I wasn't playing around. Honey, I wasn't playing around. I said, hold on one moment, sir. I'll definitely check his office. Oh, no, not today. First of all, when you have a large, a extra large, a XX large, huge man, I'm not even going to say his color. I already said his color. Huge man. I don't care if they black, white, blue, green, Hispanic. I don't care. When you have an extra, extra large man standing in front of me, looking down on the top of my head, talking about where Mr. So-and-so. Baby, this is above my pay grade. Let me go on shake these here good old square hips back here and get him, because now you're going to deal with this. All of this is coming together, and the look on that man's face, baby, he wasn't taking nary another excuse. He wasn't taking he ain't available. He'll be back later. He gonna call you in the afternoon. Check your email. He wasn't taking none of that. He wanted to talk to this man, and I'm going to grant your request. Your wish is my command. Baby, I took my happy hips back there. Miss So-so, Raheem out here looking for you. Baby, I don't got nothing to do with that. Who looking for me? Raheem on the tab. You know who he is. I done put 3-4 messages back here for you with his name on it. He in the front looking for you. Baby, that man was piping mad and I ain't care. Because what you ain't gonna have is Raheem, whatever that man named Shaquan, whatever his name was, honey, Oscar, jump across that thing and yoke me up looking for you. Because when he was standing at the desk, he was lightweight shifting over. Baby, he was going to walk right behind me and go back in the office. And guess who wasn't going to stop him? Me? Oh, it's time to go lunch. I'm going lunch. But I ain't seen nothing because I ain't going to be a witness to nothing. So, he come back there. He take the man back there. Honey, they back there talking. And they talking kind of rough. This dude wasn't playing with him. Woo, woo, woo. And so he said something. He said, I'll have it for you tomorrow. He said, you better have it for me tomorrow. Da-da-da-da-da-da. This bro was like, I'm about to go back to jail, and I'm going to go happily this time. You don't give me what you need to give me, I'm going to go back happily this time. He left out. I looked, I said, oh, it's some bull-la-la going on up and through here that I don't know nothing about. So Mr. So-and-so come out his office. He come make an announcement. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. Hollering, y'all. Hollering. I'm like, who he talking to? Because you weren't talking that loud when you was in there with Raheem. You weren't talking that loud when you was in there with him. Now you got all the bass in your throat right about now, huh? Because it ain't nothing but some women in here. I don't care if it's Jesus and he looking at me. Effing Christ. And he said the word effing. I was like, oh, for real? Don't come get me for nothing. I don't care who it is. I look. That's something for you. I'm going to lunch. Baby, I left and went to lunch. And I went home. And I quit. And I ain't come back no more. And don't you know, after that, they tried to call me and ask me to pay for them little raggedy skirts I got off that thing. I said, if you got them donated to you, then you donated them to me. I'm not giving you no money for nothing. And you better not take nothing up out of my check. I said, because if I'd known I had to pay for it, I wouldn't have got to know how, because I ain't particularly like that skirt. So I went home. That's how shady they was. So I went home. So I walk in the door. And so my kid's father was, what is you doing here? I said, I quit. He was like, why? So I started telling him about whatever. I said, I think he owe these dudes money and he playing with them. I said, this dude, this extra large, this 2X, 3X extra large man came up in there. I said, I don't know what he got going on down there. I said, but somebody gonna get his tail. I said, because he playing with people money and them dudes is fresh, honey, out of prison. I said, somebody gonna get his tail. I said, I ain't going back, because what you ain't going to do is cuss. And what you ain't going to do is say, Jesus effing Christ. Oh, honey. And said it with such venom. He was like, man, bump them then. Ain't nobody got time for that. Because if he ain't paying them, eventually he ain't going to end up paying you. I said, yeah, right. I ain't going. Y'all, remember I told you they had a furniture store, right? Sit there. Found out. Now, mind you, this was like, I don't even know how long it was after that. Could have been 6 months to a year later. Man gunned down in the parking lot of the furniture store. The parking lot of a furniture store in Westchester. I look, it's the husband. Y'all, this what happened. This the word on the street about him. He did time in prison himself. So he in prison for some years. He make friends with this dude in prison, right? So the dude in prison, I don't know who this dude is, but obviously he had money on the outside. And he asked that man for $25,000 when he got out. So when he got out of prison, the husband got out of prison, the man set it up that he gave him $25,000. He gonna pay him back because he want to do this or open up that little furniture store or whatever, woo, woo, woo. So came time to start paying the man back. He dodging the phone calls. Okay. Then he started answering the phone calls a little bit from the man because I guess the man hitting him up from prison trying to find out where my payments at. You ain't take my money over there to my peoples. What's going on? So he had every little excuse. This is that, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So then eventually the man, you never paid him none of the money. He never paid that man. Let me tell you something. Anybody that's in prison that has access to loan you $25,000 is on some shady stuff. And the last thing you want to do is play with somebody money that's in prison that has access to $25,000 and give it to you, and you want to play games as if you didn't owe that man no money. So the man called him one day. The husband picked up the phone. Man, where my money at? Is due, woo, woo, woo. He said, I ain't paying you nothing. And hung up on him. Oh, really? Okay. So he come out the furniture store, walk out the back, going to the parking lot. Somebody said his name. I ain't gonna say the man's name. Somebody said his name. He looked, bow, shot him dead in the parking lot. Shot him dead in the parking lot. You better quit playing with people's money. I knew he was shanky. I knew it was just something. I don't care. You just can't dress up a snake. I'm sorry. You can put a bow tie on a snake. What's that daggone cartoon with that little snake? He got a bow tie on. He got a little red hat on his head. I don't even know the name of the child. You can't dress up no snake. I knew he was some type of gangster. He just had this slickness about him that just was like, you just knew he was a con artist. So all them dudes from the Tower House, he wasn't paying them their money. He was picking them up. He was making them work. And he wasn't giving them the money at the end of the day. Wasn't giving them the money at the end of the day. And they were calling, and you trying to dodge them. First of all, how you going to be on the premises trying to dodge somebody when they know where you work at and they roll up in there? But you wanted your hands on the money to do payroll because ain't no telling what you was doing with that money, because you certainly wasn't paying your people. You certainly wasn't paying them. Killed them dead in the parking lot. I'm going to try to find the article. It's going to be down in the description box. You can click the link and look at the article, because he dead and gone. And the wife still had a furniture store. That furniture store, I think, after some time closed out, but she ended up getting another furniture store that was like downtown. And I happened to look in the furniture store window one day, and I seen 2 black chairs that I really, really wanted. And I went in there to purchase the black chairs. And she comes sashaying out, and I'm looking at her like, oh, you still pushing furniture, huh? She didn't even know who I was. I still bought my chairs. Took me like 2 months to get the chairs. But you know how it is with furniture. She still had a furniture store. And she still has that temporary service to this day. They killed him. Gone. I don't even know what the moral of the story is. Give people their money back. Don't borrow no money. Because you ain't had no intentions on paying that man. And you thought you was going to slide around this man like he wasn't going to find you and give him his money. Took him out. Took him out. You guys, I had just thought about that story earlier today. I said, oh, I ain't telling them about the man getting gunned down in the parking lot. Honey, this jail week, y'all. This must be jail week. Before I was about to go to jail, now this dude was in jail. Friday, I probably go with another story about jail. Did I go? I did go to jail for a few hours, though. I went for a few hours, y'all. It wasn't no long stint or nothing like that, but it was a few hours. You guys go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notification. Get a video a thumbs up and do comments down in the comment section. And also, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook under I Love to Giggle too. Follow a sister. So you guys have a great day, and I will see you again or do another video again on Friday with Storytime for my bedroom. Peace.